Hello, everybody. It's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your weekly podcast, your weekly energy tarot card pull for the week ahead, February 23rd, 2024. Does anyone else say 2024 and just stop for a second and think to yourself, did I just make that up? Is that really the year we're in? Is this the future? Is this a dream? What? 2024. How time flies when you're having fun. Wherever I find you today, I imagine that the last week has been somewhat empowering. I really feel the call from the tarot, from the energy around us right now, to take accountability, to take a good look at ourselves. And not a good hard look, but a good look. Like, hey, baby girl, hey, baby boy, how's it going? What's it like in your body right now? How's your life feeling? Does it feel good? What doesn't? Where do we want to kind of tune things up? Where do we want to, kind of grow up? Where do we want to stop repeating some of the bad habits or some of the old habits or some of the disabling habits that, worked for some reason, worked at some point. I've said this to you guys before, but in a lot of modalities, in hypnosis in particular, it's kind of the core tenet of hypnosis, that all behavior comes from a positive intention. And you could probably point to a lot of modalities that say that, but it's an important thing to remember. In ourselves, in the world, yes, but in ourselves in particular. We might do crazy shit. We might have habits and reactions and behaviors that we look at and we're like, why did I do that? And yet, if we're patient with it, if we're soft with it, if we're curious with it, we see that it comes from trying to get something that's not bad, trying to get more love, trying to get more validation, or to be seen more clearly, to get safe, to get peaceful, whatever the thing is that we're to feel included. It comes from a place of someplace very young, someplace very tender, and someplace very pure. So I say all of that to you because whatever's happened to you this past week, whatever's happened for you this past week, whatever's happened with you this past week, the Queen of Cups was an invitation to bring it back to the cave. That's the best way I can say it. You went out in the world, Three of Cups, start of the year 2024, this 8-year, this very material, worldly year. You went out there, you tried some things, you had some feelings, you saw some new perspectives, and then you retreated, and rightly so. And there's a call back to, what's going on here? And isn't it interesting how in those moments of retreat, in those moments of withdrawal, where you look at your behavior, you look at your world with, just from a new perspective or with a new sense of clarity or through a new lens, and you see that the behavior that you may or may not like, that you may or may not wish to change, it often comes from just a very different version of you. Have you ever had that experience where you have a reaction to something that someone said or a reaction to an environment, and when you sit with it with patience and curiosity and just open-handedness, you notice that version of you is from another time and another place. That little time traveler, that little time traveling middle schooler or time traveling 5-year-old or time traveling early 20s trying to figure out who you are vibe, where you look back and you're like, hey, that person was reacting to that old story. That person was reacting to that old situation. And I'm doing the best I can to survive. I'm doing the best I can with the tools I have. And the Queen of Cups was like, I think you have more tools. I think you can see that same thing, have compassion for that version of you, and also learn, and also evolve, and also make new choices. And a lot of that's going to be rooted in your sense of worthiness. Hey, man, I get to take up more space. Hey, I'm a being worthy of being seen, a being worthy of feeling connected, a being worthy of being loved, a being worthy of creativity and success and abundance and safety and whatever you dream of. You are worthy of it. And that's the Queen of Cups message. It's okay that we have done things wise remorse, right? I love that phrase. It's okay that we look back and we're like, hey, I wish I had done that differently. But we're not getting sticky with it. We're not getting sticky with shame or sticky with guilt. Just a sense of, I see how I chose in that moment. I see the implications of that choice, and I'm going to sit for a moment in this Queen of Cups week and choose differently moving forward. I say all of that, which is a little bit of a long preamble, because the card I pulled for us this week is the Chariot card. The chariot is the number 7. It's the year we were just in, 2023. 'Tis a bit confusing. 'Tis a bit mysterious. 'Tis a bit mystical. But the truth of the chariot is a sense of your innate center, your innate power center. So the chariot card is our source of will, the seat of will. It's a realization that we have so much power, and it's been you the whole time is kind of the vibe. And the Queen of Cups, I feel like she was this lovely little dancing gateway into this energy, but it's pulling us through, like it's pulling us through into this chariot moment, into this chariot week ahead, to say to us, it's been you the whole time. And this is something I say to people, you may or may not like it, but here we are. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. The situation you find yourself in right now, whether you love it, hate it, are confused, are excited, are passionate, are indifferent, it's yours. It's yours. And it's no one's fault. And that doesn't mean there's not circumstances. That doesn't mean there's not situations that put us in dynamics. And yet we have so much power within that dynamic. And that is what the chariot wants to draw our attention to. So the Queen of Cups was like, take a look at the jewel that you are. Take a look at the mystery and the depth that you are. Take a look at your water, your emotional body, and just notice where there's old tributaries that we're running through that maybe are not the place we want to go these days. Maybe not the place we want to focus these days. Let's look at these new pathways, these new rivers, these new channels that are opening up. Let's act in accordance with our sacredness, our worthiness, our sovereignty. Let's trust ourselves to be worthy, and let's move accordingly. The chariot like ups the ante on that. The chariot says, not only are you worthy, not only are you something sacred and precious to witness and behold and work with, but you are the seat of power. So it's been you the whole time. No one's coming to save you. That is both incredibly liberating and incredibly heartbreaking. And the chariot associates with the sign of Cancer. Do you know any Cancers? They're an interesting paradox because they feel really soft, right? Cancer is associated with motherhood and home and emotionality and the moon and sensitivity and all this beautiful kind of softness. Cancers are cardinal water energy. The flow always wins. Like, that's something that my guy, Gay Hendricks, says, right? He talks about integrity. His definition of integrity is brilliant. He says, let's take the judgment off of it. Let's take the story off it. And let's look at integrity as a sense of wholeness. Let's look at it as a physics problem. You have this hose, water is flowing through it. Every time we are out of integrity, so he's talking about lying in particular or dishonesty in particular, it puts a kink in the hose. It puts a little pebble in the hose. It disrupts the flow. But the flow always wins. I say that because Cancer feels like this kind of soft, fluid energy. But remember, we're in the High Priestess month. And if you listen to that February forecast and you heard what I said, what the High Priestess wanted to remind you of this month, don't underestimate her power. Don't underestimate the power of softness and width. Don't underestimate the flow. Don't underestimate the waters. Cancer, chariot, says the same thing. The cardinal water sign, if you know any Cancers in your life, tell me this is not true. They can walk into a room in a bad mood and they can spread that bad mood like a fog, like a chemical warfare. They can walk into the room and just glaze over the whole room, push emotional energy into the room and change the whole dynamic. They can also walk in joyful and change the whole dynamic. It's a superpower, and most Cancers don't recognize the strength inherent in being a cardinal water sign. Okay, so Pisces is a mutable water sign. It means it moves to the waters. It can dance with all the waters. And Scorpio is the fixed water sign, which means that don't underestimate the strength of Scorpio. Don't underestimate its ability to stay still in the churning ocean. But neither of them, no one else, can generate emotional energy. That's what cardinal means. It means you are the source of the energy. So Cancer is the cardinal water sign. It pushes, it generates, it births emotional energy. It births a new water body. That's no joke, dude. That's no joke. So we talk about Cancer, and that can feel like kind of a softness. But the chariot is a beautiful reminder of the stillness. So chariot is standing still. Their hands are not on the reins. They're riding these sphinxes or horses, or depending on what card you see. They're in this beautiful canopied chariot, and they are at such peace. And there's a sense of no effort required in the movement, and yet great power inherent in the stillness. So when the chariot card shows up for us in the week ahead in a reading, it's really speaking to us about, do you remember who you are? Do you remember how powerful you are? Are you ready to take responsibility for that power? Are you ready to really feel the strength of who you are? Are you ready to believe that your will, your desire is a generative force? Are you willing to take responsibility for the fact that as you will, as you desire, you create? As you desire, as you will, you move. There's a beautiful tantric philosophy around our deepest driving desire. Rod Stryker speaks to this really beautifully. This idea that we are driven by our deepest desire. He calls it your sankalpa. So it's your deepest wish. And from that, all action is born. And from that, your whole world is created. A conflicting energy called your vikalpa. And that is the thing that you want more. So you can say, I want a really loving relationship. I want, to be in intimacy with someone. And that can be your sankalpa. And you can have a mantra around that. And you can be like, oh, I just really like that. And I have a vision board and I'm working that energy. And if your vikalpa is, I want more to stay safe. I want more to not be vulnerable. I want more to make sure that no one can get in. The vikalpa will win. And the way that Rod Stryker talks about this is that you need to either diminish the power of your vikalpa, which is like shadow work, healing work, coming to peace and understanding your story in a way that allows you to reframe it or expand it. Or you can generate heat and fire around your sankalpa. So you can use breath, you can use your chi, your life force to generate more momentum around the thing that you do want. So there's like the vikalpa is like the maybe quieter thing that's actually weighing pretty heavily on you. And the sankalpa is the thing that you're able to say, no, I want this. And everything, come back to physics, everything is a matter of scales and balance. Everything is a matter of which has more energy, which has more momentum. So I hope I'm not getting too off track, but it's an interesting thing for the chariot card to be coming after this Queen of Cups. It's a very interesting question around taking responsibility for your power, taking responsibility. There's, I think it's Marianne Williamson who says, greatest fear is not that we're powerless. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Let's let that float there for a second. Your greatest fear is that you are powerful beyond measure. What does it mean to be ready to take responsibility for that? What does it mean to begin to gesture towards that? What does it mean to trust yourself towards that? So same thing, I can want success, I can want to create, birth great works of art. But if I'm not willing to reach for it, sometimes it's, if I don't reach for it, I can never say I failed. What if I reach for it? What if I ask for it? What if I let myself fully desire it? And then I fall short. And then I have nothing to show for it. And then I stumble. And then I fail anyway. And the chariot is it reminds me of what keeps coming up with this Wheel of Fortune energy versus the world. And I talked about that in February too. The Wheel of Fortune is the wheel's turning and the universe is meeting me and we're co-creating and it's so cool. And then the world card is hey, it's been you the whole time. Hey man, it's been you the whole time. Meaning the person you were co-creating with was source energy and you are source energy. So it was you've been dialoguing with yourself the whole time. That is the great culmination of the major arcana. It's the great culmination of that journey that we take through the major arcana where we get to the wheel and we're oh my God, it's been me the whole time. Oh my God, no one was coming to save me because I was always there to save myself because I never dropped me. And that's what the chariot's calling us up for. It's big energy, dude. This is not small. And I will say that whatever's happening, there's probably some, I would say culmination or resolution or echo of something that has been on your mind, in your heart for all of 2023. There's something about this that does tie a string back to that past year. I would offer that the chariot is coming through as this deep empowerment, this sense of, aha. So yes, it might break my heart that it's been me the whole time. It might break my heart that there's no one coming to save me. But more strongly, I feel the freedom in that. I feel the excitement in that. It's just me and me. I'm the great dance partner of this lifetime. I'm the great dance partner of this moment, and I have so much more power than I give myself credit for. The chariot is asking you to believe in the strength of your power to create the world you want. It's asking you to believe in the strength of your will as a cosmic force. Chariot's a beautiful card. It is also a mysterious card. The classic interpretations of this would be like, you're gonna get a new car. The chariot. But what I would say instead, maybe you're gonna get a new car and may you have many safe, happy miles in it. But it's more this idea of you are being propelled forward. You are gonna have the vehicles you need to make the trip that your heart desires. Are you gonna get in? Like, are you gonna, like, I'm your Uber driver. If the universe pulls up, have you ever seen that like meme of the unicorn being like, get in, let's go make magic kind of vibe? When the universe pulls up for you this week, are you gonna get in? Are you gonna be willing to take the ride? Are you gonna trust yourself to be the companion that you so seek? To be the strength that you need to tap into? To be the co-creator that wants to make beautiful, beautiful, beautiful worlds with you? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, chariot? Let me know how it goes. Let me know what shows up for you. Let me know how all this lands, because it's complicated stuff and it's deep stuff and it's ever revealing. It's an ever revealing concept, right? We can like talk about it and then it lands, and we can talk about it and it lands. But there's a sense of the high priestess in this month just allowing you to drop more fully into this moment, more fully into your power. This is it. This moment, this is where it's all happening. It's all right here. How here can you be? How much can you enjoy it? And how much can you trust the fullness of your experience as all the momentum you need? Okay. Happy last week in February. May it be empowering. May you see yourself clearly. May you trust the force of your desire. And may you trust your capacity to generate exactly what you need. Exactly what you need. All right, check you later. Bye. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.